Today I'd like to show you how to draw Speedy the Seahorse from my little Angelica books. This is my first little Angelica book, A Little Fish and Her Big Adventure. And this is my second little Angelica book, To Save Our Sea. Now Speedy teaches little Angelica and her friends to go really fast, but sometimes it gets her in trouble. And in the second book, To Save Our Sea, he gets a straw stuck to his nose. Poor Speedy. And little Angelica has to find a way to get it off again. Right. So, let's begin. What I'd like you to do is to draw a small oval shape to start with. Something like that. Doesn't matter the direction you go in, but this one is an oval shape, probably twice as big. And I'm going to do it facing upwards. So, what we've done here is using a pencil. I'd now like you to draw a line from the edge of where you want the nose to go. Now in the picture, Speedy's looking down, but in this one I'd like him to look straight forward. But draw this lightly because you're going to be rubbing this out later, and this goes down the centre of the body, through the centre of the head and the nose, and I'm going to curl his tail backwards this time. Okay, now I'm going to go straight on to using a pen now. I don't usually draw this way, but this is to make it quicker and easier for you. So I'm going to start at the tip of the nose, which is also his mouth, and go back towards the head, bring it up, and then add the kind of thorny bits to the top of his head. Now what I'd like to do is go down the back of his head, and I'm going to count as you get these ridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm then going to continue down in a straight line for a little bit to where you get to the base of the oval. Bring it straight back towards the end of the nose and mouth. Go back towards the head again. So you keep this pencil line kind of in the middle of where you're drawing. Doesn't matter too much, but it's more of a guideline. And then curl your outline round and bring it up. So that is now the head shape. Now we're going to do similar to the body. I'm going to count to 8 this time, but try and keep these kind of parallel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here I am going to count to 10 down the back of the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to continue this round. Okay. And then bring it back. So that's the end of the tail. And 10 the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost like holly leaves. Now to add the eye. Very important, the eye. So we do a black circle, and then inside do a smaller circle, but try and leave a little white dot in the middle of it, so it gives her a bit of life. Then we're going to add the dorsal fin, which is on the back of her body, and I'm going to add little markings inside in almost like a elongated V shape. And she has another little fin, unusually, around the back of her head, behind the gills. He has. Now I'm going to do a ridge of spikes down the body and join those up. And another down the other side. But I'm going to create these boxes inside and going out. And then the same, taking one, I'm just going to do one line down here, all the way down the tail. This also makes your illustration, your drawing, look even more three-dimensional, I think, by adding these details. And again, I'm going to join these up. Around here, this needs a bit of tidying, doesn't it? Just that bit, and then that can go in like that. Okay, another little ridge in there. Now, the lines you drew earlier with pencil, I'm going to rub out. You don't necessarily need to, but it just makes it a bit neater when you're doing your colouring in. And today I'm going to use watercolour paints. Normally I would use acrylic paints and acrylic inks, but for speed, because it's speedy, I'm going to use these. Now these are my watercolour paints, but you can use felt tips or colour pencils. What you must remember when you're painting is to always clean your brush in between your colours, using colours. Now, because I haven't got an orange, I'm going to mix the yellow and the red together. Okay? Now, to clean my brush, so I don't get the yellow in the orange, but I need in the red, sorry. And now we're going to just colour it in. Usually when I'm designing, painting, drawing, things like Speedy the Seahorse, I do take a lot longer than I'm doing here. I'm just kind of rushing it to show you, but please take your time. I've always been fascinated by seahorses. I think they're such unusual looking creatures. And unfortunately, I've never seen one in the wild. I'd love to, when scuba diving or snorkeling. Maybe one day. But I've seen many in aquarium centres, which are always lovely. And the unusual thing about seahorses, you may know, is the males give birth and then look after the young. Nearly there with the orange. Okay. Now I'm going to add a touch of yellow to the inside ribs. And a few stronger highlights of red, reddy orange, I think. Okay, and we're kind of nearly there. Maybe what you could do to add a bit of depth to it is a little bit of swishiness, swishy water around it. Now, I'm not being very precious about it. I kind of like it. I kind of like just adding effects. I'm adding a touch of green into the blue. Okay. And there you've got a little Speedy Seahorse. Enjoy.